This is my post-fight reaction for Anthony Yarde versus Ralph Vilcans. Vilcans was doing a good job in this fight. He learned to survive early on because Anthony Yarde started off fast, got a good knockdown in the first round, and ever since then it was like Vilcans was trying to fight to stay. He clawed his way back to try to stay in the fight. He gave up a competitive fight in the early rounds because Anthony Yarde tried to get him up out of there. And I don't know if it was because he was pressing too hard and maybe trying to go for the knockout, and that kind of affected him. But Anthony Yarde struggled a lot late in the rounds to try to get him up out of there, and also to win rounds. Vilcan was a very good fighter. I think a lot of people was sleeping on him going into the fight, but I think he was undefeated. I think he was the #1 fighter coming out of Latvia, but he's a very good fighter. He's very underrated. But from what I've seen, I felt like this fight had a very good chance of going 10 rounds. And when I did my prediction video, I kind of thought about it, and I was like, the dude Valkins looks. He's not great at anything, but he looks he's a way better fighter than what I think Yarde expected for a late replacement. That's as good as it gets. So people gotta realize that the guy was a late replacement and doesn't have a lot of tape on him, but that guy was legit and he came ready to fight. In boxing, that happens. And Yarde ended up going in the distance with this guy, but he has to add a jab to his repertoire because he can't go that many rounds with a guy who doesn't have a very high punch output, and you're struggling to get the jab off. He gotta be able to consistently throw that jab over rounds. And that's what Yarde is falling short at. A lot of guys are going to be able to out jab him at that 175 weight class unless he gets something going because of the reach. A lot of those guys have long arms at that weight class. I would like to see him use the jab a lot more consistently. I like the training he has, but maybe you should add someone to come in and give you a different look because he has to get a consistent jab, especially if he's talking about moving up to cruiserweight. Just because putting those combinations and those 1-2s and throwing big power punches, it only does so much. These guys are starting to be more complete fighters at 175. But that was a good fight from him though. Valkins is a very tough fighter. That guy was legit. He was doing everything he needed to. He was going to the body, counter punching. He gave Yarde a run for his money.